Viewers, welcome. I'm right now sitting with the ex-head coach of Nepalese football team, who needs no introduction, Mr. Graham Roberts. Graham, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You have just given your resignation to NFI. And how do you look back the 14-month tenure with Nepalese football team?
Yeah, with great pleasure. I think we've improved standard-wise. I think the AFC Challenge Cup wasn't good for us, but I think we played well in 2 games. The last game I never took. I left it to the 2 Nepalese boys. I told them to do whatever they wanted to do. But I think the first 2 games we played very, very well. Palestine, afterwards we fell out with the press, but it wasn't due. It was due because they said we never played well, but I know we played well, and I just got a bit upset about that because I thought, we had 7 shots at goal, on target, 5 off target, and to hear that, the first words when you go in, no desire. My players have never ever given me no desire. They've always tried, they've always worked hard, and I was disappointed in that attitude from the media. And so, but going right over the 14 months, I think when I first took over, I thought the boys were very lazy, but we worked together, we worked hard. We qualified for the AFC Challenge Cup, which was the first object. Then I had my contract extended for a year from June. From there, we built on the World Cup qualifier against Timor-Leste. What you've got to look at is, I knew nothing about Timor-Leste. We played them in the first game, we won 2-1, but I didn't know anything about them. So I didn't know how they would play, what they would do. But after watching them in the first game, I told everybody we would win 5-0 in the second game, which we did. Sometimes you have to see the teams, you have to look, and I never got that much help with DVDs and things like that. So that was a disappointment for me. But, other than that, we played Jordan. We got absolutely battered at their place. I think, tactically we were okay, but everybody froze on the night. It was just, I was looking as though nobody had ever played football before. And that wasn't my team. So we had to, in the second game, we had to get a bit of pride back. And I think the boys did that. I think the 1-1 draw was, I thought we should have won the day, but the rain and the wet pitch, it didn't help both teams. But other than that, it's been okay. And then we got the SAF Championship. And I would say that will live with me for the rest of my life, that we were that close to winning it. If we'd have put our goals away, I think we had over 50 shots at goal. And we only scored 3 goals, 2 from defenders and 1 from a striker come midfield player. But we were the best team. We started to believe in the way we wanted to play, and that was pleasing. But if you don't win nothing, then people don't remember you. So that's the AFC Challenge Cup. I think the first 2 games, the Maldives game, we had enough chances to win 3 games there. But that's life. You get on, you move on. You move on, and we'll see what's around the corner now. Okay.
Now let me take you to Monday. You announced your resignation, official resignation, with the paper on your hand.
Well, I just wrote a few things down.
So what was going through your mind when you were typing those letters?
Well, it's upsetting, really. I think I've come to Nepal. I've loved the place. The people, the fans. Like I said in the press conference, I played at Tottenham, Chelsea, Rangers, and these fans are as good as them. They're fantastic. They get behind the team, and it gives you energy. It actually gives you energy, and I miss that. I miss that a lot. And it was when I was typing it out and writing it out that it was going through my mind. What's going to happen next. But it was agreed on Saturday. We agreed everything on Saturday with the president, and that's when I told the 2 boys they can take over on Monday, Sunday and Monday. They can you know, have a go at trying to win the game. But it was, when I was sitting there was lots of upsetting things, you know. I'm going to be upset, but I have to move on. You know, not just me. I think AMFA have to move on. I think Nepal football has to move on now, and you know, you see who you get next time.
Robert, when you were appointed as the head coach of our team in Jan 2011, you know, our Nepalese team had loads of successes, like AFC, you know, qualification we qualified. Then in World Cup qualifier we went through the second round. Looking at those statistics, you know, you are successful. Looking at those statistics. Now looking at SAF and the recent AFC Challenge Cup, you know, SAF, yeah, we made it through semi-finals after, you know, a decade. Now looking at the AFC Challenge Cup, we had no goal at all. So looking at SAF and AFC Challenge Cup, it seems you were quite unsuccessful. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, I don't agree with the SAF, because I think we beat Bangladesh. I think you haven't beaten Bangladesh for 18 years, is it? The SAF Championship, yes, the AFC, you know, that's a disappointment for me. Because I felt we could win the first two games. And I look back on it now, and I've watched the DVDs yesterday and today, and we've hit the post, it's come out. We've hit the bar, it's come out. I saw two other games, they've hit the post and gone in, and they've hit the bar. That's the thin line that you live on, you know. The goalkeepers made saves. So it wasn't, we didn't try. The boys tried very, very hard in the two games. Yes, I think you're right. Nepal football needs to find some good strikers. You know, I was talking to the boys last night, and I've said to them, I can't make them an instinct striker. You know, you have to be like a Michael Owen, that kind of striker. Robbie Fowler. See, Wayne Rooney is a striker, but he plays outside the box. That's what our strikers do. And we tried, we worked hard on them, we worked very, very hard. Shooting, crossing, everything we did, we worked very, very hard in this tournament. But if you've either got it or you haven't got it. And I've got to admit now that the three boys are good players, but I just don't think they're out and out strikers. I honestly don't. You know, I've spoken to them, and I think what Nepal need to do now, you know, there must be other players, Nepalese players playing in different countries. I don't know. You know, I think they need to widen their outlook and maybe try to find these strikers.
You know, after looking the first game, the FIFA president Sepp Blatter on court said our Nepalese team is like a Barcelona, which doesn't have Messi. Is that right?
Well, I think we play good football. I think now you know, the boys were passing the ball about. The second game, I think we tended to play too many longer balls in the second half, because I think once we conceded the goal, the boys started to panic. But we were shouting from the touchline, as you can know my voice. You know, keep the ball moving, keep it playing, keep it on the ground. You know, that's an honour for Sepp Blatter to say we play like Barcelona. I never really thought about it that way. It's just my style of play. But you know, it's a compliment to all the boys that he said that. And I felt against Palestine we had 65%, 64% of the play. And if we'd have had a bit of luck on the night, we could have got a draw or maybe a win out of it. But that's history now. You know, everybody has to move on. But it was a nice compliment. You take it as a compliment. We move on.
Okay. And after association with Nepalese football team, where do you think our weakness lies? Is it always the striking lineup?
Well, it's going to be in it, because you don't score enough goals. It's always going to be that. You know, the boys yesterday, the two coaches tried to play 4-4-2 yesterday, and after 15 minutes they changed to 5-3-2, because you're playing against stronger players, and you get overrun in every position. So you know, they done it quickly enough. They changed the style to 5-3-2, and I felt from, you know, that they got back into the game a little bit before half time, and you know, but Turkmenistan were a good side. They were a good side yesterday, and you know, I think if we'd have had to draw or win, if we'd have beat Maldives, then I think they'd have come under a lot more pressure than they did yesterday.
You know, Robert, if I say, you know, Mr. Robert is a good coach who couldn't, you know, brush up the skill of striker of Nepal.
Well, it's not brushing up the skills of striker. Like I said, you've either got it or you haven't got it.
Right.
And they haven't got like I call it in England, the fox in the box. You've got to be in the box. You've got to be in the 6-yard box to score. And I went and saw a game today. Philippines played Tajikistan, and the Philippines striker was fantastic.
Right.
And he played by himself. He took the whole defence on by himself. But he's had an upbringing at Chelsea Football Club. We played against him a little while ago when we went on the Asian tour.
Yeah.
And I knew how good he was. And I told everybody today, what's this player? I was sat next to the Tajikistan fitness coach. And I said, you need to watch number 10. Yeah. And he scored one and made one today, and they win 2-1. I wish our strikers could be like him, because they you know, he was fantastic. And it's not that you can coach him. Yes, you can add things to him, but you've either got it or you haven't got it. And I've got to honestly believe that and say that, you know, the 3 strikers we have, I think they're good players, but they're not foxes in the boxes.
You know, Robert, you are always aggressive on the field, off the field.
Yeah,
always aggressive.
I'm not when I'm out.
And with the press, you are too aggressive.
Well, maybe. I think they ask silly questions sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. I think, you know, straight after a game, and they say you have no desire, no, you know, your team has no desire against Palestine. I felt it was an insult, for, not just to me, but to my team, because I felt they gave everything that night. And, you know, I think the press, they play on things like that. You know, and maybe I should have just took a backward step and just said no comment. But I feel for my players, I feel for the country, and I will answer the questions. And whether the press like it or not, I don't really care. You know, this is life. You get on with it. You know, the president, he's the one that employed me, not the press. So, you know, it's the way of life is that, you know, if you ask silly questions and you get silly answers sometimes. And
sometimes you answer the questions, but sometimes you use objective language.
Sometimes it slips out. I apologise for that, but you know, sometimes it slips out, and you know, it's like you just played 90 minutes. I would like some of the press people to go and do the job that we do for 90 minutes, and then somebody come in and the first question is bang. Sometimes you just, you know, you don't think, I suppose, but you know, I apologise for if people took it the wrong way. Then that's, you know, I apologise for that.
Okay. Now in this AFC tournament, you know, we didn't even score a single goal, isn't it? We had the home ground advantage. We had Sepp Blatter. We had the Prime Minister. We had every people, you know, for us, but we couldn't capitalize it. So what was lacking? What more do we need?
You need to find strikers that play on the back of people and in the box. Not, you know, I say Germano's a striker, but he plays outside the box. And Neil Gurun starting to play outside the box now.
Right.
Santos plays outside the box. Nobody goes inside it. You know, yesterday we played Turkmenistan yesterday, and Santos ran across the pitch on the 18-yard line, and he didn't shoot. So it's confidence. You know, but I think it's time now for whoever takes the position to give the younger boys a chance now. You know, maybe this tournament was too big for them, because they're powerful teams, very powerful teams in this tournament. But I look back on it.
But you were too confident of, you know, getting to the semi-finals.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too confident. I was confident, very confident. But against Palestine, an inch. One way, the ball goes in the back of the net. An inch the other way, it comes back out. So that's the thin line. You know, India never scored. They got the best striker in South Asia. Chetri, he never had a kick in this tournament.
They were the half champion.
Yeah, but they never had a kick. I watched all their games, and he never had a kick at the ball. He never had one chance to score a goal. So, you know, it's not just us. It's India, Maldives. I watched the team today, Tajikistan. Nice football, but they lost 2-1. They're out. That's football. That's the way football goes. You know, you have to take your ups, you have to take your downs. And but I think we've improved. I think, you know, hopefully the boys take it on. I think they have a problem is now they go back to their teams.
Right.
They won't train. They go into these tournaments. They play one day. It's no good for them. No good.
No, we went to SAF Championship and we had an AFC. Among South Asian team, which one is the strongest team? Is it Nepal?
Well, I think we're number one. We're number
Ranking
one.
wise.
It doesn't matter. We're still number one. When I took over, I think we were 4th.
Right.
So we're number one. So that's an achievement. I think we've gone up 21 or 20 places in the rankings in FIFA. But people don't look at that. They always look, oh, Nepal would drop 1 place, but we're still the highest ranked in South Asia. Yeah, I would say Nepal. If you had the SAF Championship now, I would say, yeah, they'd be one of the strongest teams, yeah. I think we're stronger than India now.
Really?
Yep.
Even now?
Yep, I do, yeah. I think if we played India in this tournament, we'd have beat India.
Right.
I think the Maldives are a strong side. They have 1 player. Not, they don't have 1 player. Don't take that like that. But they have a team, but they have 1 special player.
Right.
Ashfaq. You know, when he gets on the ball, if we had him in our team, we would win every tournament in South Asia.
Right.
You know, he's a special player. But at the end, we haven't got him. You got to. What they have to do now is they have to start looking and grooming the younger strikers. And you know, I tried to put a lad, Bishal Rai, in the squad. He came to 1 training session, said he was injured, so he wanted to be released with the other Bishal for Jawakil, and they said they wouldn't be able to train. Right. And then 3 days later, they play in the tournament and play 4 games, 5 games in Pokhara. So maybe they just don't think they can get in the team. I don't know, but sometimes you have to have a go.
So Robert, you know, in our team, you know, which player do you think, you know, have the potentiality to, you know, make it to the English professional league that you played so far?
None.
No. Really?
Yep. I think they're good players, but what they need to do to get in English Premier League. Yeah. You're talking. This is Nepal. This is English Premier League. Millions of miles away. Millions of miles away.
So how can
they're good players,
right?
But they're amateur players. You know, I think what they need to do now is some of the players need to try to play in Europe, like these Tajikistan boys, like these Turkmenistan boys. These play instead of playing Nepalese football, they need to go out at other countries and they will progress. But at the moment, none of them will get into an English Premier.
Robert, how can we, you know, decrease that gap? Is that possible?
Yeah, well, you have to get your academies going.
Really?
Yeah, you have to get your academies going. You have to get better pitches. You have to get, you know, the president's working very hard on getting artificial pitches, better pitches. Like these pitches we played on now were great.
Right.
You know, the training pitches that we've trained on for the last 2 weeks have been fantastic. Nice and flat, green grass. But, you know, you know what's going to happen in 1 month's time. There'll be no grass again. you have 64 games on 1 pitch and the grass goes. So you can't keep playing like that. You have to have a structure. You know, and the president's working hard trying to get this structure. You know, the National League. You know, it's no good playing teams when, you know, you're playing the bottom 6 or 7 teams. They're not good enough for the top 6 or 7. You know, you've got the people with money, the people without money. Same in the Premiership. People with money, Manchester United. The people at the bottom got no money.
Okay. Since you have resigned, you know, NFA will definitely, obviously, appoint new, you know, head coach of our team. You know, do you think Nepalese coach are good enough to coach their own boys? No. No. Why do you think so?
Well, I don't think they get the respect from the players. You know, what you got to do is you've got to earn the respect from the players first. And I just don't think they're strong enough. I think they let the players do what they want to do. You know, I've had, you know, I've been here, I've seen what's happened. You know, and the players have to take the blame as well.
Right.
Because you need, whatever coach you have, you have to give them respect.
Right.
You know, and I work every day, 7 days a week. Some coaches don't like working Saturdays. You know, no, we cannot work Saturdays, day off. In football, there's no days off. You want to be successful, or you want to have a go at being a coach, you have to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You know, and I think they take it just too easy, and that's their one problem. You know, but yeah, there is some good coaches. You have some good coaches here. You know, whether, you know, I don't know what the president's going to do. He's going to appoint somebody, but you know, he will appoint the right person for Nepal football. You know, he's done very good in getting this tournament here and giving Nepal a lift. And you know, I have nothing but admiration for what he's done for Nepal football.
Right. No, we're not going to get Graham Roberts again back to our Nepal.
I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. You know,
really?
You know, the president said to me, the door's always open. It's down to them now. You know, I'm going to have a rest for a while. Maybe you know, there's my agent's working in England and trying to. He's already spoken to other countries and other places and teams. I don't know. I'm going to go home and maybe take 2-week holiday and just have a break. I just need a break.
Robert, what kind of coach does our team really need?
You need a strong coach.
Like you?
Well, maybe not. Maybe they're different to me, but you need a strong coach. You know, because the players will take liberties, and if you don't put your foot down and stamp your authority, then they're going to do what they want to do, and that's their way of life in this country. You know, you have. I've never known a place that has so many festivals. You know, like we've just come up this road today, and there's another festival. You know, we've had 5 here this week.
Yeah.
You know, and then what happens is the players want to go to those festivals. You can't. If you're a football player, you've got to give it 100%. You know, and you've got to give 100% to the team and 100% to your country.
Robert, you know, before the game, you know, against Turkmenistan, you had your 2 players taken by the army, isn't it? So
never before.
You know, did that morally affect the game on that very day?
Well, I think I never picked the team, so you know, I don't know what their team was going to be before, but I would have thought that Raju would have been in the team.
Right.
You know, 99% sure of that. I'm not sure if they'd have said Bikas would give you the last game. I don't know. I didn't ask them about the team. I let them deal with it, the 2 lads. But you know, I was still head coach at the time.
Right.
And I woke up at night, you know, 8:30 in the morning. I went downstairs for breakfast, and my team manager said, "Look, we have a problem. 2 boys, you know, got taken last night by the army." And
you used the word kidnap on the
yeah, but that's an English saying, you know. But it was kidnapping, because you don't just come. You know, what they should have done was talk to me.
Talk to you, yeah.
They should have, you know. And we could have sorted something. You know, you didn't need to come and get somebody in the middle of the night. The boys were asleep, and take them back to the barracks. And you know, they could have waited till the morning. Somebody could have come, spoke to us. Yeah. We could have sat around and had a cup of tea, and we could have sorted it out. But yeah, when you wake up and I thought we was back in the old dark ages. You know,
16th century.
16th century. I just didn't believe. I could not believe it when they told me. I said, you know, we're in the middle of a tournament and the 2 boys have been kidnapped. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Okay, now we are at the end of this show. So what do you want to say to all those Nepalese football lovers, you know, who loves you so much, who will definitely miss you so much? What do you want to say to them at the end?
Well, I just think, you know, first of all, I'd like to thank AMFA.
Right.
I'd like to thank my president. He's been, you know, 100% behind me. Yes, everybody. It's like if I have an argument, you know, that's the way life is.
Right.
You know, nobody's ever perfect, but he's been absolutely fantastic for me. We worked well together. Now, you know, he's moving on, I'm moving on. But the real thing for me was, you know, the fans were fantastic. you know, I went to the SAF Championship, and if it hadn't been for our fans being there, there would have been nobody in the stadium.
Right.
They were fantastic, and they've been fantastic every game I've ever, you know, played in. It was disappointing yesterday because not a lot of people. There's nothing to play for, but you know, they are fantastic fans and great. And I wish you all the success in the world. I wish Nepal, you know, I hope you do win something in the near future, just for your fans, you know, and to the fans, you know, thank you for all the support. I will, you know, it will live with me for the rest of my life. And one day I'll come back, and you know, if you ever get the SAF Championship here, I'll come back and watch, and hopefully
you come back and watch.
Well, we'll see what happens. You never know what happens, but I will come back anyway and visit the country, and you know, because the fans were fantastic for me.
Okay, thank you, Graham.
No problem.
It's a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Viewers, he was the ex-head coach of Nepalese football team, Mr. Graham Roberts. So this much for today's show. Keep watching News 24 television.